Well, they have this simple little guard thing that's called a brush guard, and it's only $78. And I'm pretty certain that's going to cost me a lot more to fix or at least bring to some sort of happiness for myself. The bonnet, as I've looked up, and that's what that hood's called, is $1,500. And I don't believe that includes my grill here. So I don't know what other damage is inside of there yet. I'm going to pop this thing off and take a look at it. I tried to pop the hood earlier, and it didn't happen. So that's the ugliness that is the day. Tree branch finally won one after 4 years. Oh, this is about as crazy as it gets. I can't stand the idea. Well, that was depressing to watch. Here we are about 6, 7 months later, just too many other activities to take care of ahead of this. But it's time now. Winter is biting the air outside. We've got about 2 inches of snow that just fell. So I'm inside the shop. We've got the stove on and heating up and blowing out some hot air out here. So an insulated shop is worth gold, right? So I'm going to take this opportunity to try to fix this. Now, again, this is another new here at Changing Latitudes. I have never repaired a dent. So I suggest to you I might be a little bit flawed in my efforts here. But I have gone as far as buy all the tools on the internet, one of those pack things out of Amazon. We'll see how that works. Again, it's probably more about the artisan than it is all the tools. There's tons of them. So I'm sure the right person with the right tools can make this go away pretty easily. You can see here I've got some just really kind of crushed in. I pulled it out manually, very carefully. There's a nice little brace here that holds the front end together, bolted together, and that I don't want to play with too much. If that breaks, then I'm in the welding business, and that would be all new activity for me as well. So don't want to be in that business. Obviously the paint chipped, so some definite paint issues here. And they'll tell you that you're supposed to heat it up as you're working with it. And again, another one of these moments where I've watched dozens of videos on how to accomplish this. But it's not to suggest that I'm going to still do it well. I'm going to try my best with it. I think the first step I'm going to do is take all this front grill off and all the braces out of it and get this thing somehow supported. I don't have one of those fancy lights that show you the ripple. This is a tractor. It has plenty of damage or work on it already that suggests that I'm not going to get too maniacal with it all. But I'm definitely going to try my best, because one of the challenges here is that the lights don't sit in here right now. What I did, there's a brace that goes down the middle of this thing that holds it all together, and I just bought a new piece. But this hood, this bonnet, I think is what they call it. Well, I believe just this piece here on the top was over $800. And then if you started buying a grill, you bought this, you're looking at probably about $2,000 to $3,000 just in this item here. So obviously either I'm going to fix this dent, or I would actually have somebody come out and fix the dent, and then I could go and repair the rest of it. So Yeah, I definitely need to get this done because I need the lights for snow removal when that actually gets a little bit more aggressive here soon, and get this thing all lined out properly. I can see that it's caved in here and pulling back out. So I'm going to do my best to try to work with it and see what I get. So I'm going to share that out. In the meantime, let me show you all these tools. It's enough to drive you crazy, get mad here. You know, you got a glue gun, you got the glue sticks, you got two different colors of glue sticks, all the different toys to pull out. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to try my best. We try things here, new things that we've never accomplished. So it's a beginner's channel in a lot of ways, even the site itself. Trying to do things that I've never done before, and hopefully they play out properly. So let me get into it and see where it goes. So I've got the grill off now. Give me access to kind of repairing and fixing in here. And the difficulty of that, of course, is just, I've got to pull it down and latch it. But this latch, if you know one of these Kubotas, the latch is actually attached to the grill. So I'm going to have to get myself something to tie it down to hold it while I'm, pounding away. So I've got to hold it down during the course of it, so that you can work on the dent. So I got to bring it down here and give it a good attachment, and then we'll go from there. I did consider leaving the grill on, and it may be a wise thing to do, but since I have to bend this out, it just won't work. So I'm going to go ahead and just tie it down. There's plenty of places to do that with, and work from there. So with the straps holding it down, I have it in place now, and it shouldn't go anywhere while I'm kind of working on it and pulling on it. Normally you heat this all up so that the paint doesn't chip, but as you can see, I've already got that problem. So I intend to sand this at the end anyway, and then pre-paint it again with some Kubota orange, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and get a couple of these guys, these glue guys, stick them on here, and I'm going to try to get this main dent out and then work from there. The idea of beating on your tractor is like, but it is what it is. I am getting this thing to come out just a bit. Of course, that's created a lot of little knots and stuff like that, which you can tap down at the end. But what I'm doing here is I'm going to go ahead. What happened was the branch came in and it yanked on the brace that was inside here and yanked this back and bent this nose in. So what I now need to do is get in here and lift that nose back up. And, you know, banging on it is not getting me 100% to bright. Now, what it has done is allowed me to come back to somewhat of flat so that I could put this guy on here. And I theorize, because again, I am just doing this as a brand new dude, and some of the tricks of the trade I do not know. But so I'm going to go ahead and try my best to try to lift this thing up using this guy here all at the same time. So we'll see what we get. In prior tries with this, I actually used just a pair of vice grips and grabbed on it and yanked it up. And I did get it to move quite a bit, which, you know, allowed me to get through the whole summer with it in disrepair, but at least working. So because this thing was mashed, it was done. So I've got to try it some more. I think for the most part I'm starting to come in again. This nose is cramped in, so if I can get it to come back up, then I think I'll be in better shape. Oddly, my hands yanking up this front end is actually working better than pounding the hell out of it. But, you know, again, all these little ripples and all this, you can work on. You just have to pay patience and just keep tapping them, heat it up, keep tapping them. So I've learned from the internet. So the idea here is I got definitely ripples. Again, this is not a car where you're driving down the road and you don't want dents on your car. I don't want dents on my tractor either. I mean, if you can avoid them, avoid them. But if it is this case that all I need to really do is get this thing kind of cleaned up, get this exposed metal taken care of so it's not rust, turning to rust, sand it, get it right, and then spray it right correctly, then I should get, for the most part, what I need out of this to happen, which is my lights in, the fixture. Again, my grill is pretty crunched up too, and I don't intend to replace that because it's just, again, ungodly expensive. So, my job here is to basically get this thing to where I can work it. I'm getting there, getting close. It doesn't feel like it at one moment, and then the next moment I feel like, okay, good, we're getting there. I mean, this guy's dent here was quite a bit in, and I just got to keep working it. And, what I can tell, this whole dent removal process is a lot to do with patience. I don't have a lot of patience. But, at the end of the day, it's like I said, it's cold out, nothing else to do at the moment. Always something to do, I guess. And so I decided to take care of this. Okay, so I've sanded it with 500 grit here, and I've got a little bit of ripples here and there. Again, this is not going to look like some, paintless, dentless touch-up. It's going to get close, and it looks relatively good relative to where it was. And I think I've got something that I can work with to get this, put it all back together and make sure that it all works for the headlights and things like that. So I'm getting close. I've got a couple little ripples here I'd like to take out. This guy here is just too, It's just starting to kind of crack in the metal, and I don't want to play with that anymore. So this is the piece right here that I probably want to tap in just a tad there. But the form is here. The form is here. Again, if it had one of those line lights and, you know, they're showing you the lines, I'm sure it would look rough. But, you know, I think overall it's looking really good from what I'm intending to do with it. You know, I'm sure the paint job is going to have its own challenges, so I'm not even going to get too aggressive and make this all too pretty. So with that, I think I'm going to try to ding out that just a little bit more here. And these guys over here, they're looking relatively good. You know, I don't think I'm going to have a perfect deal here. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and prep it for some paint. Again, from what, you know, looking at it at different angles, you know, I see just a tad of a ripple through here, and that's fine. Again, there's going to be little dents on a tractor. If you don't have any little dents on a tractor, you probably aren't using your tractor. So, you know, I've corrected, I think, the situation. I feel pretty darn good about the front here. It'll match up. It's probably got a variance of, you know, a millimeter or two, you know, but I can't get into that business. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward with the paint job. Okay, so here's the Kubota acrylic enamel. Yeah, bright orange too. So let's hope that this is it's I don't know. We'll find out in about 2 seconds here. So here we are a couple of days later to look at how it all came out. Again, as I was saying in prior discussion there, you know, this is not going to be perfect, but it did come together nice to where I think it's going to match up very good with the grill and all that. So hopefully, you know, I know when I peel this back, it'll be a nice little line across here of this, you know, orange, and then everything else is just, you know, again, it's a 4-year-old tractor, so it'll probably have, you know, some coloration differences. But I want to kind of pull it apart, see what we got, and then go to work with putting the grill back on. I'm just going to go ahead and unwrap it. Let's see what we get. So as was expected, there is a nice little line going across here where the tape was. And of course the blend isn't perfect. But again, as time goes on and the tractor is a tractor and it does its thing, it's going to have its dings and dangs along the way. But the good news is I'll be able to put on the grill and get that all situated and fixed out. If I wanted to, I guess I could knock this down just a little bit with a sandpaper and kind of try to blend it out just a bit. I don't know. I maybe some future state. I don't know. I think it's, in my mind, it's got to just be what it is and be done. Okay, let's wrap up this video. So obviously now you're seeing the completed cage all put back together. Like I was expressing a little bit before, you have a little bit of a bend here and here. But I want to point out a couple things about this thing that it was important to consider in the cost of the structure of this thing. So this piece here is brand new. It busted. All the pieces that hold this in are plastic, so obviously when that pressure went through, it just busted that up. But it did not bust my light. So the two lights remain healthy. All the connections, the piece of wood did not hit the radiator or anything internal, so I was fortunate because of that beam that comes up through here that holds this all together. It's a nice little metal bracket that kind of keeps the cage from going in. You can see I'm putting pressure on this and it's not going in. Now on the bonnet, obviously it took the most of the damage. This is what the bulk of this video is about. Fixing this out, pounding it out. Obviously I have the extreme light on it, so it looks just a bit, not completely looking great, if you will. But what it is it's formed almost perfectly to where it was before. So it's receiving the grill and holding it all together. I can pop the lid, I can work on it. The tractor looks fine. There is that line that comes across from the paint job. Hey, no big deal. Like I said, it's a tractor. So good shape. Everything's looking right. Lights are pointed correctly. Everything I was hoping to get out of it happened. So yeah, started off with the drama of busting up the front of the tractor and had to basically learn to work with it a little bit. Just trust yourself. It is very awkward to take a sledgehammer or even any kind of hammer to your tractor to pound it out, but sometimes this is necessary versus just dropping just a chunk of cash to take care of the tractor and move on. Thank you for watching. Talk to you soon.